Front Row MMA here at Spirit Dojo in Nottingham with Paul Semtex Daley, just a few weeks out from his main event fight, Cage Warriors 57. First off, thanks for taking the time to see us.
No problem.
Before we get into Cage Warriors, you know, it's now official that you're going to be competing Bellator.
Yeah.
And do we have any news as to when that tournament's going to start, and are you involved in it?
Well, I've heard rumours that the next tournament is going to be in September. And I know that they're working very hard to get the application process through, the visa application process through, so that I can get out there, basically. You know, we've had some issues there, but we're in a position now to apply, and that's what we're doing.
You know, you must be sick of talking about it, and I've seen some of the interviews before, but a lot of the UK MMA media was saying that you couldn't get a visa because you were involved in a bar fight. You've come out and denied that. Just one more can you...
There was no bar fight. There was an issue or an event that happened, which I denied, and it turns out that, you know, the case was dropped. There was no evidence on the issue, but it wasn't a bar fight. It was nothing like that, and it was nothing too serious. It's just I'd rather just you know, focus on me as an athlete and not on the mistakes that I make.
So with Bellator, you know, they had their first show that was aired on Viva a few weeks ago, so it's on the UK TV now.
And I missed that. I really wanted to see King Mo and Babalu's fights. And I know the results, and I'd seen Mo's finish, but I wanted to see how the production came across on UK TV. But I'll get it next time.
Production value actually wasn't so shabby.
Good.
I think you look all right on there.
Good.
You know, War Machine made his comeback, and although he's been quite respectful. Is that the kind of is that a first round fight that you would savor?
War Machine, I think it would be better built as a super fight. I know the fans voted when we did the little fan vote prior to the whole issue with my P1 visa. The fans voted for the fight, me versus War Machine. So I think it's a big fight that everybody wants to see, and it would be good as either as part of the tournament or as an introduction, a reintroduction for me to the Bellator fans. You know, I had one fight there, and then I've been missing for a while, so it would be good to return there.
What do you think it is about that fight that makes the fans excited? I mean, is it the fact that you figure that he's going to stand in front, we're going to get a stand-up battle? What do you think it is?
I just think that we're both aggressive fighters. We've both got a little bit of attitude, charisma about us. I think it's a good fight to sell to the media, and I think stylistically it matches up well. He's a strong guy all round. I wouldn't say he's outstanding anywhere. He's probably his strongest part of his game is probably his tenacity and his submissions. He's got a decent ground game, but I think everything else is you know, it's blasé, you know, whatever. We'll see.
Wowzers. Yeah. I don't know quite how to, because otherwise I'm going to sound like I'm stirring shit now. We move away from Bellator for a little bit, because that's September. Actually, we move away from your fight with Bellator. They've been doing a lot in the UK. They've taken a lot of fighters, guys who, you know, you fought on the same card as some of these guys, Rob Sinclair, Paul. Is Bellator going to be able to establish itself in the UK? And do you think that's one of the reasons they've got you?
I think they definitely would need someone to carry it through across to the British audience, someone who's just established in the sport already. It would seem as though that would be me, as I'm probably the biggest name fighter that they've got from the UK, and one of the biggest fighters that they have on the roster, just generally anyway.
Is that something that you look forward to, though? Is that kind of a challenge outside of the cage?
Figure to do the Michael Bisping and Dan Hardy role and carry the sport to the UK fans. I'm a talker. I'm probably a little bit more honest and a little bit more less inclined to be bent towards what they would like me to say and what I really want to say. But, you know, I'll do my best as an ambassador for the sport and for Bellator. Like you say, they've signed some great fighters, Martin Stapleton, Paul Sass. Is it Paul Sass has gone there as well? Rob Sinclair. You know, they've got some good guys already. Got the spinny guy, the kicker.
Venom Page, Michael Venom Page.
Yeah, they got Page there. So they got some good guys there, and it's going to be interesting to see how the British guys do.
One of the names you mentioned was Dan Hardy, who I know used to be a teammate of yours. And, you know, I don't know if this question will go down well, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Would you ever consider getting in the cage with one of the old roughhouse lads? Because I know that a lot I was asked this question the other day by somebody else, and I just wouldn't do it.
to be honest with you. I think that. And they was asking me how much money would you take to do it, and I was just like, no, I'm not going to do it. I got involved in the sport. Dan Hardy came along. We grew a fantastic team, and I think it would just be, although it would probably make a great sell for a lot of TV companies and media and press, I just think it would be sad to ruin that. Me and Dan, we really did just start with a dream, and we'd babble on about getting to the UFC and doing this and doing that, and it's just good that we've both done what we set out to do. We've both achieved some great things, and it would just be a shame to ruin that story. So no,
not something you.
It's not something that I consider.
Nervous asking that question, man. We're going to move to Cage Wars now. Yeah. It's your first fight in the UK, probably in your last sort of 4 or 5 fights. I know you fought in Ireland, but you've been international. How important is it to have this fight and sort of show off your skills to the UK fans?
I always love coming back to the UK and fighting, and I think every time that I've come back, I've put on a pretty decent performance. Not necessarily my best performance, but the fans don't get to see me fight here much, and I normally put on a fairly decent show. I'm in better shape than I've been in for the previous fights I've had. I thought Bama was the last 2 fights I had in the UK. The Shirai fight, it was a quick finish, but I wasn't in fantastic shape, although I won the fight. Radev, everybody raves about the fight because it was so tough. It took a lot of punches and stuff, but again, I wasn't in the best shape. I came in overweight, and I wasn't in the shape or focus that I have now. So I think you're probably going to see that one of the best Paul Daleys to have performed in the UK for a long time, and the fight should be pretty amazing.
You talked about the fact that perhaps we haven't seen you at your very best. Thank you. That we haven't seen you at your very best in the UK in the last couple of fights. Again, there are people talking about sometimes you have a tough time cutting weight. How's that coming in this camp?
Yeah, the weight's absolutely perfect.
Okay, nobody likes to show
pretty
off.
shredded. Pretty shredded right now. Yeah, the past few fights, I've had no problems with the weight. I've been extremely disciplined. My team have been very supportive around me. My girlfriend's been fantastic with the nutrition and keeping me in check with how I'm eating. And I train really hard. I've had guys come into the camp. We've got Coach Oliveira, who's here now from Formula of Shootbox Brazil, but he's training in France now. And we've had Domingos here. We've had a lot of guys here, and everybody always says that they're surprised at how hard I train and how much I do, because I do a lot away from here. I obviously run the gym, I do my own PR, I market my guys, and I'm doing lots of other stuff as well as being a family man. And I think that's all because I'm juggling, because I have so many important things that play off the back of me being successful in the cage. I think it's brought about a new focus, so you won't have me getting in the cage overweight or any of that crap. I'm training harder than I ever have, to be honest with you.
Now, you fought on Cage Warriors before, back in the day, and you probably could have had your pick of any promotion you wanted, really, for your final fight before going to Bellator, I presume exclusively, yeah. Certainly. Why Cage Warriors, and what was it about this fight that appealed to you?
I think really, in my opinion, apart from, well, I'll just say I think Cage Warriors is the best promotion in the UK at the moment. I think they're doing things correctly. I think their production's good. I think the volume of the shows that they're putting out is good. I think the fact that they're signing fighters and giving fighters a lot of fights and keeping them active is good. They're fairly easy to deal with. The venues are great. And when they put on a show, you can pretty much guarantee the show's gonna be on there, and whether your opponent pulls out or drops out, you're gonna be fighting. I just thought that was good of them. And of course, I pretty much started my early fights here at Cage Warriors. I think my second fight, either a semi-pro or something fight, was with Cage Warriors. My second pro fight was with Cage Warriors. Yeah, sorry, which was down in Portsmouth when old Dougie Truman had the show, and yeah, it was good.
Now we'll move on to your opponent. You're fighting Lucasz, and I'm sorry, Lucasz, I'm going to now massacre your last name, Chlewicki.
Chlewicki. I was going to say chlamydia there. That would have been insulting. Chlewicki. But anyway,
that wasn't me. I'm going to call him Lucasz from now on. Lucasz is, I think he's Dave. Lucasz is 10-2-1. I think he's on a 3. He's sort of 4-0-1 in his last 4 fights. Where do you see him posing a challenge? Where do you think he's most dangerous? He's
just a very tough guy, a typical fighter from Eastern Europe. Very tough, very aggressive. He comes to fight, you know. He'll go for submissions. He'll throw punches. He'll spin around and do spinning back fists and all kinds of unpredictable stuff. So, yeah.
And if he, putting yourself in his shoes, what do you think he's putting together for you? Is he going to look to try and do what most people do, which is take you to the ground? Because everyone assumes you've got the huge knockout power, but most people assume, well, he can't. Is that going to be his game plan?
Well, he can. Excuse me, guys.
Sorry.
I'm trying to fucking do an interview here. What's up here? Fucking. What's up here? Right, sorry. Anyway. Right.
How do you think? What do you think his game plan coming in is going to be?
I think he's going to come in, try and rush me and take me down, basically. Which is going to be very disheartening for him when he finds that he's not going to be able to take me down. Because what happens is once they go for their plan A, there's not really a plan. Your plan B is pretty shit, which is to stand up with me. So I think once he finds that out, that he's not going to be able to take me down, he's going to be very nervous and he'll be doing very erratic stuff. But I'm prepared for that, and I think that we'll see a knockout.
Now, I know that you're actually promoting this fight here, trying to get getting fans coming up, and I believe you're actually offering free coach ride from.
Yeah, there's a coach ride. Yeah, we've got a free coach going from Nottingham at 4 p.m. If you have a ticket that's purchased from myself or Fearless Fight with Nottingham, there is we've got all the ticket numbers, so don't try a little scam if you live in the near surrounding areas and you've got your ticket from somewhere else. But yeah, we've got a good response. There's going to be 1 or 2 coaches going up. Just personally through the Spirit Dojo and through the people around Nottingham, we've done probably over 100 tickets. So it's a fairly decent crowd just
from
making the journey up from Nottingham, and I think that's to say it's all up in Liverpool, and it's not easy for everybody around here right now financially. I think that's good, and they'll make a lot of noise.
I just think that's amazing. You're helping bring.
Oh yeah. You buy a ticket, the coach is free. I'm not charging any extra for the coach. Tickets are £30 or £50. You have either of those, then you can get on the coach for free. And I'd like to say that I wouldn't have been able to do this without sponsors Band Fightwear. So big shout out to Band Fightwear and Craig for helping out with that.
How important is that fan base? As a fighter, I ask a lot of fighters this because some of them say I don't hear anything. Some of them say it's like having an army pushing me forward.
Yeah.
What's the fan reaction like to you? How does it make you feel when you're in the cage?
Oh, when I hear it, I probably only hear it on the entrance and after the fight once I've won. But when I'm in there, I don't really hear too much of the screams and the roars and stuff like that. But just to have them travelling up there, and I like to walk around before the fight and mingle in the crowd, and it's nice to see him there and see your mate you used to go to school with, or your mum's friend who's been following you from work. You know what I mean? He's someone who's watched you grow up and stuff like that. It's nice to see him there, to see him following me, and see him support me.
Now, you've given a shout out to Band Fightwear already, but before we let you go, is there anybody else, any sponsors or any people you'd like to thank?
Yeah, there's loads. Band Fightwear, Blue Apple Jewelry, Maxi Muscle, H3 Performance, Pound Out, all the guys at Spirit Dojo who helped me, Coach Dave, Coach Rupert Smiley, Delakia, Coach Toby, Coach Oliveira, the guys who've come and helped me spar, Walter G, Dominguez, Paul Coles from Gracie Baja, Josh Caldani, little wrestler, meathead, everybody. Yeah, it's been great.
Paul, I'm not going to wish you luck because you're not going to need it. I'm looking forward to seeing the fight. Thank you so much for your time.
Anytime.
Thank you.